Hello, welcome back to RuralVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith, and today I'd like to talk about land next to top Starbucks. First, I'd like to talk about, we've done hundreds or thousands of land deals through YouTube and this YouTube channel and other social media, little RuralVacantLand.com website, lots of other websites, bought and sold land. Started out with the cheapest land here, the cheapest land there, the cheapest land of this size, the cheapest land in this state, the cheapest land, like you name it. We've been selling that stuff. That's fun too, but it doesn't pay the bills as well as other ones, right? And so I started getting into the fastest land that you can resell. And I started going after areas where the markets are really hot and it's really fast and easy to sell land. And I did lots of those too, and those are fun. But the markets change and they're harder to get a hold of too. And so I've looked over time and I'm like, what are the best ones? What properties have the best spreads? That you can buy low and sell high and keep the biggest dollar amount in between, right? And so out of my arena of properties, I'm sure there's others that are better, but the ones that I've gotten into, my biggest spreads, the best deals have been high traffic retail. Not every single one that I've been into, but some of them have been just like boom. And so I want to learn off of those and do more. I want to emulate them. I want to copy them. I want to seek them out. I want to tackle them, and I want to produce more of those deals, right? So, high traffic retail, and that's measuring cars coming and going. It's measuring foot traffic coming and going. These are places you could build a shop. You could build a grocery store. You could build a car part store. You could build a drive-through restaurant. You could build a shopping center, whatever it might be. The ones that I've gotten into have been more tailored towards drive-through or a grocery store kinds of plays. I've gotten into some that are over $500,000 spreads from buying it to selling it. Like buy it for 120 grand, sell it for, 600, 700 grand kinds of numbers. Like those kinds of spreads. But I think it's probably easier to get a $500,000 spread by buying it for 500 and selling it for a million. Or there's lots of different versions of that kind of spread, right? So, but I'd like more of those kinds of spreads, and I'd like them to happen on a much more frequent basis. And I want to seek them out and I want to tackle them. So, studying these land plays, I think one of the best ways to do that is have these high traffic retail kinds of properties, oriented properties, and add some value along the way. Find a tenant that's willing to use that property, sign a lease, pay rent, and then in the commercial world, sell the property based on the rent and credit of those tenants that like that property. Now, if we have awesome property and awesome location, it's much easier to sign up those awesome tenants to make it happen. And so I've been studying that. I've been looking at it from 100 different ways. And my favorite play in that idea is a ground lease. A ground lease is like a Aldi kind of grocery store comes and likes the property. And they say, Luke, I would like to lease that property from you. I don't want to buy it from you. I don't want to pay anything. I want to sign a lease and I'll start paying you monthly rent. When I get the store built, I'll build it. Being Aldi, Aldi builds it. I'll pay the taxes on the land. I'll pay the insurance. I'll pay for the employees. I'll pay for building the building. I'll make it all happen. And I'll pay your rent when it's up and going and running. And it'll be this amount for the rest of forever. Maybe it escalates some with time. And that would be great. I would love that kind of deal because someone like an Aldi has a credit rating that allows me to go take this contract to the market and sell it to other investors, people that want to sit around and collect the cash flow for the rest of forever. And I could get paid really right away, really fast, highly liquid market, and much easier to sell than just vacant land not doing anything. Turn it from vacant land into a producing asset and sell it on the back of its cash flows, right? I love that play. I would like to do that. And how do we do it? So that's what I've been studying. Now, recently I've come into a coffee brand that is very open to doing those kinds of deals and asking for more. And so I started studying land next to top Starbucks because Starbucks pays a lot of rent. They got a lot of people that pay a lot of money for Starbucks. Not me, but my wife sure does. So I guess an extension of the family. My family buys a lot of Starbucks, and they just go for it. can't stand spending the money, but they do. And next to Starbucks, that's doing a lot of customers and a lot of business, other coffee shops could do really well. And so I started pulling them up. I found one, the top one that I'm using as an example. This maybe isn't the perfect example for this brand that I'm hunting for, but for this video, I think this is a good example. Okay, so I found this one. This is the top producing or top visited Starbucks in the country. This is 35,000, you can't, maybe it's too small to see, but 35,400 customers a month go to this Starbucks. It's measured by people carrying their cell phones through here and stuff. And they got to stay there for like, 7 minutes to even get into that count. So a lot of people get through there in the drive-through and don't even get counted. So however it is, it's a lot of people go here to this Starbucks. That's over 1,000 people a day buying Starbucks at this location. Now I'll zoom out a little bit. I'll show you where this location is. Might give you a little more idea of what we're talking about. This is in southern San Diego County. I live north of here, not too far. Down here, this line is the Mexican border, Mexico south of this line, and north of the line is the US. This is the I-5, Interstate 5, big major freeway that comes up through here. By my house, it's like 18 lanes. I mean, it's crazy wide freeway. But down here, it's, I don't know, 4 or 5, 3, maybe 5 lanes in each direction or something. Not as big, but still a freaking huge freeway. Tons of people going through here. This is the most trafficked border in the world. I believe it still is. It's always been promoted as that. A lot of people live in Mexico, work in the US. They do San Diego, LA, and back in the same day to go sleep in Mexico at night. I mean, there's a huge flow of labor, of business going both ways. A lot of people live in San Diego and work in Tijuana. I mean, they go both ways. Lots of different trade going through here. And so people go through here all the time. This is the second exit north of the border. And so they get off here on their way north after they've been waiting in line forever to get some coffee, stay awake while they're going on the road, right? And they also stop here if they're headed south. There's a McDonald's here too. This McDonald's is doing 20,000 customers a month. But I'm talking about Starbucks. So next to Starbucks, there is, as I pulled this Starbucks up, we'll zoom in some more. Dairy Mart Road, Starbucks. San Ysidro. There's a KFC. There's a KFC next door. This KFC closed. It closed in December of 2022, maybe even January of 2023. This says January 25th, but I'm not exactly sure the date. But earlier this year they closed. That's my point. Is they closed. So there's land underneath there. What are these people doing? They get the restaurant's closed. Like maybe they got plans. They're going to redo it or something. But you just zoom in. It looks empty. I pulled this up. So here's street view. So here's the Starbucks here. I think this used to be a Burger King. They reworked the Burger King into a Starbucks. I believe. I might have the brand wrong, but looks like one to me. And then over here is KFC. So if we zoom in, here's the Starbucks. It's all refreshed, new looking, and then there's KFC, which is old looking, that hasn't been refreshed. And street view, you can see their signs are sitting on the ground, like they're taking it apart. Whenever when the car drove by, they got cones trying to keep people out of there. They're taking the brand down, and the building's still there. You get a little closer, older street view, the brand's still there. It's got the drive-through. It's good looking building. You could do something else in here. You could sell some tacos or burgers or whatever. I'm sure you could sell something out of this building, maybe coffee, and recycle this building, turn it into something. It's just sitting there. It's not being used. Somebody ought to redo it. So I started looking for phone numbers, trying to call these people. I couldn't find a phone number, but I got their mailing address. So I sent them a letter, say, hey, I want to buy your KFC. Let's talk. Let's buy it. I want to buy it. I don't live too far from there. I'd love to buy it. I'm sure we could turn it into something else, right? And now, this one is beautiful to me because it's next to the top performing Starbucks. And I think as I explain that to people, the top performing Starbucks in the country, there's lots of things that could happen here. And I think a lot of people don't have that data or don't understand it or don't look at it that way or not a systematically ranking way that I like to do. And I think that's the opportunity to take up some of these properties. Now, looking at other properties like this, going down the list, I started going down the list. So this was just number one Starbucks, but I'm down into, I'm not going to share the numbers. So I've gone through a lot of the Starbucks and I've looked at properties and I've started categorizing, ranking land next to top Starbucks that I'd like to make offers on and do deals on. And other vacant QSR kinds of shops like this. They could bulldoze and put other buildings on or recycle into other shops. And I would like to work on those. And I'm learning a lot. I'm seeing the markets where the top Starbucks are happening. It's not only a top Starbucks, they're really hard to get land in. They're really hard to get vacant buildings in. When I find buildings that I think are vacant and I start chasing them down, calling them, it just turned into another hot name. It just turned into this. It just turned into that. It just turned into that. Oh, we got a contract to turn it into XYZ. And they're doing it because those markets are hot, because there's lots of business there, because the action's happening. And it's not happening down in the ones that are all flooding the markets. It's happening in the ones that you're not seeing on the markets. And so, as an example of another property I was on the phone with today, this is another QSR shop, and it went up for sale yesterday. And it was they're asking $500,000, and it was very similar to this building I got in the background here, but at a different location and different brand. It's the same kind of thing, and really high numbers next door of other shops, lots of traffic on the street corner, beautiful location. They wanted 500 grand, asking 500 grand, and we got the broker on the phone, and great guy, knew a lot about it, well versed in these things, and he usually sells bigger assets. But he posted this thing and figured the market would find a price for it. And I said, this is a bidding war deal, and it was. And so I called him up, and he's already got multiple. Even though the thing was posted yesterday, he's got multiple offers where people are offering five and a quarter, five and a half, 600 grand. And they'll close next week. They'll close the week after next. They'll close before the end of the year. They've got the cash. They don't have contingencies. They don't have timelines. They don't ask a bunch of questions. They just know the statistics and they'll just close on that thing quick at the right price. The market's liquid. It's happening. It's dancing. It's popping. And it's very competitive. So that particular broker was saying, if you would have called me last week before I listed this thing and I didn't know what kind of pricing's going on in the marketplace, and you offered me 450 grand, I would have signed like right away, no problem. I would take 450 and we'd be done, maybe even less than that. And that's the opportunity. A lot of these people don't know what they have. They don't know the price. They don't know the value. They don't know what the market's at. Or they're not equipped to go find new tenants, bring new tenants, and add value to take the thing even higher. And that opens up a big wild spread in assets that are much more liquid than a lot of these other vacant land property plays that we're usually doing. And so I would like to buy more of these. I would like to scale into them thicker and go after them more. I'll give you a little preview. So let's say we're working on KFC buildings and we wanted to target KFC buildings. This particular KFC building that went vacant here, I mean, maybe someone slept with the wrong employee that got blackmailed and they couldn't get rid of them, or somebody was embezzling, or who knows what the story was and why they closed it down, because the ranking doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This thing was doing, I mean, it was 58 percentile ranking. Maybe the rent goes up 50% or something this year. They got in a fight with the landlord, or I don't know, but it's better than half. They're in the top half of all KFC sales. It seems like it would keep going, but it's not. These other ones down here at the bottom, bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. They're not doing enough sales to like pay the electricity bill. They're the Walking Dead. They're obviously going to be, something's going to happen to those properties, and we should be making offers on them. We should be finding these things and getting them before they go on the markets and piles of people show up. If we get them priced right, we can take out the difference on that in short order and make some money. And so I would like to mail offers for those and offer them cash. I've got other investors and partners that like to fund those kinds of things. And what I need help with is the mailers. I've got machines, I've got paper, I've got envelopes, I've got toner, I've got the data. I can write the letters, answer the phones. I'll get these mailers out and make them happen. What I'm looking for is the capital to do it. And so if you are willing to take a risky shot like that with me and send some of these mailers, I'm asking for $1 a mailer. I've done this numerous times on this YouTube channel in the past. Lots of people sent money. We've done lots of mailers. And lots of those people made lots of money. Some of them didn't make any money. I'm sorry for that, but it's a high risk trade. And sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it works really well. I've sent out checks over 50 grand to some of those guys that sent in like, $1,500 in mailers. I've sent checks to, I've hand delivered in person, face to face. Some of those guys that we've done deals with over 100 grand for their cut of profits on doing these things for mailers. And so this time, I don't want to hand you a check of the money that comes out of these. I want to transfer the funds into my fund. I've created a fund that I'm really proud of and I believe in, and I want to show off to you what we can do in this fund doing these kinds of deals, the returns we can get out of these kinds of deals. I want to hand you dividends. I want to hand you interest again and again and again, and bonuses on the back of these deals as they come through when they're funded through the fund. Now, if you are interested in skipping the mailer and going straight to the fund, I welcome that too. There's some regulations we need to talk about, and I'd like to do that over the phone and get you to sign paperwork and stuff. So I'd like to talk to you about it, but we can move money into the fund and we can fund these kinds of deals. We can buy them at one price and sell them at a higher price. We can buy them. We can find tenants, tenant these buildings up, redress the buildings, recolor, re-sign, retool, and go sell them at higher prices. And if enough funds come in, maybe over time, we keep some of them. We can depreciate them over time and use the depreciation to help offset the ones that we're buying and selling on a more regular basis, depending on capital availability. But I would like to do these deals with you guys, working with you deal by deal by deal and compounding them up over time. I think the first step is sending out the mail, asking for more of these deals, and taking the profits from those and putting it into the fund and then funding the deals deal by deal by deal. So the $1 per mailer offer that I've done in the past, this time I'm not asking for percentages of the profits off of it. I'm asking for you to put that money into the fund where I can send you more returns over time out of the fund. The fund is a 1-year lockup minimum. After the year, you're like, Luke, I need my money, or Luke, I don't want to do this anymore, or Luke, whatever, just let me know and I'll send the money back as soon as possible. I don't think you'll want it back. I think you'll want to stick around for more returns as I can do more of these deals and we keep kicking out distributions along the way. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put name and address in the comments below to send a check in for mailers. I'm asking for $5,000 minimum in mailers because of the statistics. The more mailers we send, the better the statistics are that you get hits and the more likely it is that it comes through. I don't want to do the 1,000 or 1,500 anymore. I don't want to disappoint somebody by not getting a hit. I want bigger numbers of mailers, higher probability of hits, and less probability of people not making money at all. More probability of getting 2 or 3 or a couple of them to work. Put my heart and soul into these mailers and try my heart out to get them to work. Sometimes they don't work, and sometimes you lose all the money. And most of the time, every one of these dollars that goes to a mailer, you lose the money. But every now and then, it only takes one out of the group to pay really well. And then that money, I want to show it to you and put it in the fund and send you dividends and send you distributions and send you dividends and send you distributions in a way that I think you'll tell your friends and family about to send more money and invest in the fund. And that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm excited about. And that's what I want to do. So that's what I'm offering to you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. See the description of this video below if you want to join me on this adventure. Thanks.